Lots of folks are up from a romantic island getaway filled with sand, sun, and fun. Who wouldn't be? Even so, there are plenty of island destinations that offer some pretty bizarre and unique experiences, which contrast strongly with a typical island beach holiday. Let's have a look inside strangest islands that exist. Before starting the video, please subscribe to the channel and click on the notification icon so you can be notified when we upload our next video. Number 10. Isla de Comida Grande, Snake Island. The stuff nightmares are made of, an island full of snakes! Isla de Comida Grande is in the Atlantic Ocean, could be a beautiful paradise if it hadn't have the highest concentration of venomous snakes in the world. Thousands of golden lancehead vipers slither on the now uninhabited island. There was a manned lighthouse from 1901 to 1920, and a doctor has to be present when the Navy makes its annual stop. While poachers have been known to visit Isla de Comida Grande to trap, then sell the snakes, the island itself surely won't be a hotcake destination anytime soon. Number 9. Fadooth. Clamshells as far as the eye can see. Fadooth, a small island that's part of a fishing community, is built on millions of shells that have been discarded by locals for generations. Shells are a part of everything in this town and are incorporated seamlessly into the architecture as well. While the streets paved and bivalves draw quite a crowd, the second shell island, connected to Fadooth via stilted wooden bridge, is the true gem of the area. Each step on the white streets is accompanied by a cracking sound, and shells are used as materials in architecture and crafts. And the local Christian cemetery is a popular attraction and a rarity in a country where 90% of the population adheres to Islam. Fadooth has no motorized transport and relies heavily on tourism, and clams of course. Number 8. Isla de las Muñecas, Island of the Dolls. Anyone who has ever seen one of the Chucky movies will agree, dolls are creepy. This is especially true when they're hanging from trees, wrapped in spider webs with bugs crawling out of their empty eye sockets. Are these the horrors of the latest Hollywood thriller? Actually, such scenes are what you can expect to see when visiting La Isla de las Muñecas, or the Island of the Dolls, just outside of Mexico City. The story behind this eerie place is just as bizarre as any tale that Tim Burton or M. Night Shyamalan might dream up. A grieving man named Don Julian came to live on the island in the canals of Xochimilco after a tragic death of his entire family. Then, one day he heard the distant screams of a young woman drowning in a nearby canal. He ran to the water's edge, leaped in, and pulled the girl to shore, but despite his brave efforts, she soon died. Alone again, Don Julian began to hear the girl's voice on a nightly basis, and in an attempt to ward off her spirit, he began to hang dolls from the trees. Pretty soon, he became a local legend, and people began to bring him more dolls to add to his collection. Don Julian died in 2005 at the age of 86, but not before amassing a ghostly collection of dolls, and parts of dolls, numbering in the thousands. Number 7. Christmas Island. Once a year, remote Christmas Island turns into a red sea of crabs. We're not talking about thousands or even tens of thousands, but 50 million Christmas crabs. Throughout the year, the crustaceans live within the island's forests, but during the wet season, October through November, they undertake a spectacular migration, which takes at least a week, to the Indian Ocean where they mate. Obviously, the nearly 2,000 human residents are outnumbered, and coexisting hasn't always been easy with the crabs being crushed by vehicles and causing accidents. But now, park rangers installed crab fences, crab grids, and even a crab bridge to support the migration. Number 6. Hashima Island. Hashima Island, located some 9 miles southwest of the Nagasaki, is almost as strange for what isn't there as it is for what is there. Once considered the most densely populated area in the world with 334 people per acre, this island mining community now stands completely abandoned in the waters of the East China Sea. The Japanese developed Hashima when coal was discovered in the rock beneath the island and surrounding seafloor. The Fukuhori family installed the first mine shaft on the island in 1887 before selling it to the Mitsubishi Company for 100,000 yen. The company used tailings from a mine to enlarge the island to 15.6 acres before encircling it with high seawalls. The increased space allowed Mitsubishi to build housing for their miners, though apartments were cramped and primitive. As the demand for coal increased during World War II, Chinese and South Korean men were forcibly brought to Hashima Island to work the mines. By 1959, the population of Hashima peaked at 5,259, and the tiny island based a primary school, junior high school, playground, gymnasium, pinball parlor, movie theater, bars, restaurants, 25 different retail shops, hospital, hairdresser, Buddhist temple, Shinto shrine, and even a brothel. The island's decline began in the 1960s when petroleum replaced coal as Japan's main energy source, and the mine was ultimately closed on April 20th, 1974. Though the island has been unoccupied since the Mitsubishi operation shut down, the buildings remain as an eerie reminder of the mine's prolific past. Number 5. Tall Volcano. An island within a lake that is in an island within a lake that is an island in the sea. Confused? Heck, we are too! In short, Tall Volcano is a complex volcano in the Philippines, but let's try the long version again. Vulcan Point Island, Island 1, lies within the main crater Lake, which is on Volcano Island, Island 2, which is within Tall Lake, which is again on an island, Luzon, Island 3, which is part of the Philippines and sits within the Pacific Ocean. Phew! Tall is also the country's second most active volcano. Complex is totally appropriate word here. Number 4, Palm Islands. An island shaped like a giant date palm, only in Dubai. It makes sense that one of the strangest man-made islands in the world is located in Dubai, a city whose extravagance also includes an indoor sky hill and a 160-story skyscraper. Palm Jumeirah, an artificial archipelago off the coast of Dubai, boasts 16 0.62-mile long fronds, surrounded by a circular barrier island 6.8 miles long. It measures 3.1 miles from tip to the mainland and is 12 square miles in total area. It was constructed in the Persian Gulf using boulders excavated from a nearby mountain range and more than 120 million cubic yards of sand dredged from the sea floor. Commissioned by Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum and constructed by state-owned developer Nakheel, Palm Jumeirah doubled the natural 42-mile coastline of Dubai. Amazingly, Palm Jumeirah is just one of the 4 artificial island developments currently underway in Dubai. Nearly complete, Palm Jebel Ali will be more than twice the size of Palm Jumeirah, while the final development, Palm Diriyah, will be the largest of the 3 artificial islands. A 4th project called The World is a cluster of 300 islands grouped in the shape of the world map. Unfortunately, Dubai's 2008 debt crisis nearly brought construction to a halt and cast doubt on the future success of these developments. Number 3, Torry Island. Don't we all envision being a king or queen with our own kingdom sometimes? If you want to make that dream come true, move to the tiny Torry Island, about 6 miles off the coast of Donegal County. The history of the kings of Ireland's most remote inhabited island goes back centuries, maybe even millennia. In order to become king, you better learn Irish, though English is acceptable to communicate with visitors, and more importantly, convince the 150 residents to vote for you, which might not be an easy task, given that the current Raith Oral, King of Torry, has held the title since 1993. Number 2, Sable Island. Nicknamed the Graveyard of the Atlantic, Sable Island off the coast of Halifax is basically a giant sand dune thought to be responsible for hundreds of shipwrecks. Only sealers, shipwrecked sailors, and salvagers ever lived, temporarily, in this hostile environment facing the harsh winds nearly 100 miles offshore. The extreme weather, which causes the landscape to constantly change, moving up to 330 feet annually, is one of the reasons for the more than 350 stranded vessels. Fog is another. Other strange stuff about Sable Island, it's only got 1 tree, a scrawny 3-foot pine, but 500 wild horses. And number 1, Okinoshima. So, we've seen an island inhabited by horses, as well as one inhabited by cats, and by other less present creatures. Now, to our surprise, there is also an island, like Tashirajima, it's also in Japan, that is populated by a huge number of rabbits. In the years between 1925 and 1945, Okinoshima Island was used by the Japanese army as a facility to test chemical weapons. Apparently, the army of rabbits was brought there as test subjects. These days, the rabbits inhabiting the island are said to be their descendants. We don't know whether they have any genetic memory about what was happening to their unfortunate ancestors, but they seem to be prospering on Okinoshima these days. Dogs and cats are not allowed on the island, which means that the bunnies can hop around undisturbed and breed like, well, rabbits. So, let us know, guys, which one of them you would like to visit. Thanks so much for watching.